Welcome to your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored today and all this week by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make confident business decisions. Hello from New York and the ARF, where we'll have some news for you from their annual meeting in just a moment. But first, I wanted to call your attention to a pair of Forbes.com bylined articles. The first is from Forbes staffer Jennifer Rooney, who wrote about CMOs wrestling with art and science that determine their marketing decisions. More specifically, she got into the realities emerging from previously unavailable data versus clients' great, long-held comfort with intuition. Rooney says marketing organizations are, quote, grappling with data as much as they are accepting its role and necessity, and then trying to strike the right balance between art and science that will affect their own capabilities, agency relationships, organizational structure, strategy, and staffing. She added, quote, attracting and retaining the right talent for the new complexities of marketing remains a challenge for most companies, end of quote. Meanwhile, Forbes contributor David Cooperstein published the 5 questions marketers need to ask themselves in 2013. We'll skip the questions and go right to his conclusions. They begin with overhauling the marketing organization so that traditional advertising folks actually work alongside their digital media counterparts. 2, don't just collect likes, find ways to turn, quote, those little blue hands into brand advocates across all media, end of quote. 3, hire data analysts who can assess and make decisions based on new digital tracking data. 4, investigate automation platforms like Responsys, IBM's Enterprise Marketing Management Suite, Neolane, or Percolate. And 5, create custom brand content to help people form opinions about your brand. In closing, I wanted to tell you that we spoke with ARF's new president, Gayle Fuguitt, on Monday morning. She's a 32-year veteran of consumer insights for General Mills, the last 15 of them as VP Global Consumer Insights. She also served as a board member of Market Tools and Iconoculture, an ARF board member, and a contributor to academia at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the A.C. Nielsen Center. Gayle is not only a credit to our industry from her past, but we talked with her about what she plans to do moving forward with ARF. Gayle, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Why did you want this position after 32 years at General Mills running consumer insights?
Well, I mean, I dove out and I did keynote speeches, and I realized that I have so much passion for the role of the researcher, for the future of research, and I feel like the feedback that I got from my speeches was, you're not just talking about what we should do, but you actually have done it, you've experienced it. And so at some level I felt like if I didn't kind of stay engaged in the industry somehow, I'd be letting people down, I'd be letting the industry down.
So you're willing to move from Minneapolis to New York to do that? I
am. It's all about colors. I've packed up all my black clothes and bringing our little dog, my husband's little dog, and looking for some green for my little dog. Bigger adjustment for her than me, I think.
Well, speaking for the mayor, you're going to need a pooper scooper too.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
Okay, how will the organization perhaps look different a year from now than it does now?
You know, we're going to definitely build on the foundation of what we have. You know, we have conferences, there are, you know, forums and these big scientific initiatives. I think the opportunity for us is to attach those, it's similar to what I said this morning, is to actually attach those, that collateral back to business issues. So we're going to go out to the member organizations and understand, all right, what are your most pressing business problems, and then we're going to try to figure out how to deliver meaningful insights and also examples of successes and failures that are by other member companies. So there are actually outcome-based examples for people to learn from each other on. I imagine that we'll create some networks of people or partners for communicating with each other that have shared type problems. And I think what's really important is that I sat in that desk as a researcher for years and years, and I didn't have time to read through white papers. I'm a researcher. I like it. I like the depth of it. It just took time. So I think what we have to do is we got to kind of synthesize and soundbite out some of this fantastic material that's being created by the subject matter experts at the ARF and get it brought forward to action. So get it lined up to specific business problems.
To me, your hiring is exciting because you're the first client researcher that I believe has been hired to run any of the major research associations. Do you look at it that way too?
I guess I'm kind of surprised that everyone that's people's feedback, but I think maybe what people are optimistic about is the practical or pragmatic approach that you have to take when you're a practitioner. People don't sit around and wait for you. If you don't get included in a meeting, you got to figure out how to get your stuff in there. And so I think there's a certain amount of agility, maybe a little bit of savviness that goes along with being successful. And I mean, for my own part, I had 19 bosses in 21 years, so I had to learn how to reinvent myself over and over again. And I think those are the kinds of things that the industry is going to have to do.
Yeah, again, from my perspective, what should be exciting, and I think is to, basically a vendor-dominated, not only association but industry, because there's probably 8 or 9, vendors for every one client that's out there, is the perspective that you bring on an ongoing basis. That it may be easy to talk about and say, well, we know the clients want it this way, but when they walk away and have to actually do something, I think it's easy to lose that perspective or to underplay that perspective. And I think you bring something on an ongoing, everyday, every minute basis because of your presence here running ARF.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think it's going to take more collaboration, and I even spoke of this at Casro last week. I think even collaborating with what we have thought of in our industry as being competitors. I think we want to be careful about criticizing our own work in a really public way. I hope that data quality is an ante, not an argument. And so there are some platforms like that where I think we could really serve ourselves better as a research organization. I think when it comes to the vendor-client relationship, I remember something that Ramesh Wadhwani said last year at the ARF, which was clients ask for these really aggressive and different things, but sometimes it isn't what they really want, or they can't absorb it into their organization. So I think we're going to have to really work on a good, very transparent and clean conversation with each other about so we can get in and do this experimentation and co-creation and advance our industry.
That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make confident business decisions. Do yourself a favor and check out the Socratic link underneath our video screen. Have a great research day, and please join us again for more from the ARF tomorrow.